Hello, this is the Tesla guys, and what we thought we'd do today is have a discussion, a Q&A discussion about topics that are interesting to people who are either Tesla owners or are thinking about purchasing an electric car and are wondering about some of the logistics of owning an electric car. So one of the most important topics is charging.
Exactly.
What do we do with charging? How do we charge a car? So we thought we would, as Tesla owners, discuss some of the practicalities of charging at Tesla and see if that would be of interest. Olaf, you've been an electric car owner for quite some time now.
Yes,
Since actually 2012.
that's right.
And what are some of the questions your neighbors and friends who aren't Tesla owners ask you about charging?
The most common questions are how long does it take to charge, and how difficult is it to put up a charging station in your house, and things like that.
Okay. Well, so hopefully let's start delving into some of these topics and see. So tell me a little bit about your Tesla. How long does it take to charge your Tesla at home?
Yeah, excellent question. And I usually ask my friends back when I ask that. Well, how long does it take to charge your cell phone?
You know, I never thought about that.
Me
I
neither.
just come home, I plug in my phone, and it's always charged.
Yes, and
Is that
actually,
your experience with your Tesla?
it's exactly it. I never think about how long it takes to charge, but since people ask it so often, I've actually thought about it.
Okay.
And it depends a little bit on the size of your Tesla. So generally, on a specific type of charger, a small Tesla would charge faster than a big one because it uses less energy. So Model 3 charge faster than Model 8, for example. But on average, on a general household outlet, 120 volt household outlet takes 3 days to charge from empty to full. But on a typical 50 amp 240 volt outlet, most Tesla owners have something like that. It takes about 8 to 10 hours to charge from empty to full.
And that would be what most people would have in their home as Tesla owners.
Exactly.
They would have a level 2 240 volt charger. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Level 2 refers to 240 volts chargers, and they range from anywhere from 30 to 100 amps.
Okay. Okay. Is it possible to charge your car from solar?
Oh, yes, it is. Definitely. If you have solar power on your house, you're going to, per definition, be driving on solar.
Okay.
If you plug your Tesla into your house. At least if you plug it in during the day when the sun is shining.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you need dedicated panels, solar panels for your car, or can you just use solar panels that are placed on your home?
No need for dedicated panels at all. So whenever you have solar panels on your house, you're going to be charging from them if you plug your car into that house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there have been some car companies recently that are advertising vehicle-to-grid charging. So instead of the energy going from your home into your car, you can actually return energy from your car to the home. The Ford F-150 recently was released with that capability. Can Teslas do that?
Yes, the Tesla Roadster that came out in 2008 can do it. But Tesla discovered that too few owners were using that feature for it to be worth it to have it in the cars. So the subsequent Tesla models, including Model S, X, S, and Y, do not have bidirectional charging capabilities.
I guess the other concern that I've heard is that it has to do with the longevity of the battery.
Yeah.
So if you're returning energy frequently to the grid with the bidirectional charging, you would degrade your battery quicker. And since the car is a very expensive and valuable tool, that may not be the best use of your car's battery.
Yes, that's
so
right.
It's probably not very difficult to do in terms of adding an inverter, but as a practicality, it's not the best use of your car's battery.
Yes. So their strategy is to have stationary batteries for stationary power, and then mobile batteries used exclusively for powering the cars. So that if you think about it, for example, the battery wears out from cycling, from charging and discharging. So if you think about a battery as a commodity that gets recycled or discarded when it's worn out, it will be a shame to throw away wheels and bodies and seats, everything that comes with a car.
The entire infrastructure of a car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because you used it for stationary storage. So that's the other thing is, if you do have bidirectional charging, you need to have like you mentioned, an inverter in the car that so that the car can put out alternating current for your house. So that will be a component that adds extra weight to the car. So if you were to have it, you really wanted to carry extra weight around, then you really want to make sure that you really want it. Otherwise, it's pure suboptimal.
Yeah.
And even if it's for emergency use, one for if power goes down, it seems like an unnecessary component to invest weight and money into.
Sure.
If it's not
It's
gonna be
something
used
that's going to be rarely used.
So that's something really to think about. So it's definitely not an obvious, like you said, Ford F-150 has it. Tesla doesn't have it, but it's not an obvious answer. But Tesla's strategy is clear enough to do it for now.
Now, what about another question? I think we've both been faced with this situation a little bit.
Yeah.
But what if your Tesla runs out of charge in the middle of the highway? What do you do?
Yeah, if you run out of charge, you need to call a tow truck.
To get
Or-
towed to a supercharger station?
Yes, or to call somebody that has an onboard mobile charger that they can charge you up a little bit so you have enough miles to drive to a charger.
Has that ever happened to you?
It has happened that it happened once in the early days before there were a lot of superchargers I hit 0 miles on the battery meter, but there was a little bit of a reserve, so I managed to get home. So I haven't gotten to the point where the car has stopped, but I have gotten to 0 miles, and it was probably very close to shutting down. How about you?
Yeah, also, as an early Tesla owner in 2017, I encountered that problem a couple of times. And like Olaf said, there wasn't as many superchargers. The range of Teslas was less at that time. My first Model X had a range of 237 miles. So on a couple of occasions, we were on a road trip and we reached 0 miles on the battery. Fortunately, there's actually quite a bit of reserve after 0 miles, where I was able to drive it for several more miles until I found a supercharger. And so I've never had the necessity to get towed. I've always been able to get to a supercharger on my own accord, so, which is a good thing.
Excellent. Or we should also say, if you happen to run out of charge to where the car shuts down, then you should leave your front open, because you might not be able to get into the car if there's no power. So if you lock the doors and walk away from it, when you come out, you could have discharged to the point where you can't even unlock it. So open the front, you can reach the 12-volt battery to get everything started again. Okay. Also, the parking brake might stop you completely, so you can't even pull it onto a tow truck if it's locked and shut down. So you can, I mean, there are ways to open it, but it's more easy. It's easier if you open it first.
Okay. What about the cost of charging? What's the cost of charging?
Yeah. So the best way to compare that, I would say, is to compare with the new Model S, which has 400 miles of range, which is comparable to the range of a gas car. The battery size of the Model S, which is 400 miles, is 100 kilowatt hours approximately. And each kilowatt hour varies where you live, but here in Florida it's 12 cents per kilowatt hour, means 100 kilowatt hours will be $12.
Yes.
A gas car of comparable size with the Model S is about a 20-gallon tank.
Yep.
Each one is, each gallon is $3.50 right now. So there will be $70. So compared to $12 for a Model S, that's $1.6 cost. So I would say driving a Tesla costs about $1.6 of a gas car in terms of.
Now, how does that compare to, say, a supercharger?
Supercharger costs 25 cents, from what we can find out online right now. 25 cents per kilowatt hour. So that means a full charge from Model S will be $25. So still much cheaper than gas.
Right. Now, what about competing charging networks like Electrify America?
Electrify America, we checked this morning, it says on their website it's 43 cents per kilowatt hour. So significantly more expensive than Tesla, but still cheaper than gas.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, if I were to say want to purchase an electric car, or purchase a Tesla, what would one need to do to install a charger in their home?
One would need to call an electrician and have either a 50 amp outlet. Well, I would recommend 50 amp outlet, 50 amp, to connect your mobile charger to, or have a wall charger, Tesla wall charger. To buy a Tesla wall charger, have an electrician connect that to your electricity, and that's what you need to do. And that costs about wall charger 500, and then the electricity installation itself depends on the length of the cable from your electrical panel board. So in our experience, cheapest I've had would be 400 per charger, and you can up to how much? You put one a long distance away from.
Yeah, I have one outside here in my my driveway that was more than 100 feet away from my panel, and that altogether was 1,500, 500 for the charger and 1,000 for the installation. So, like you said, the further you are away from your panel, the more expensive it's going to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we could, from our experience, then between 400 to 1500 per parking spot.
Okay. Okay.
Where you want Tesla charge.
With solar panels,
Yeah.
if I were to have solar panels to charge my car, how many solar panels would I need?
Here in Florida, you need one panel would give enough energy for 7 miles per day of driving. So if you were somewhat average driver driving 50 miles per day, you would need
About
seven
panels.
7 panels. That's right. If you wanted the solar to cover all your driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll be a proud driver on sunshine if you had more than 7 panels or more.
You would
Right?
be completely sunshine dependent.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Olaf, do you have any final words or thoughts about being a Tesla owner?
Yes, I do. I think it's super convenient.
Yeah.
It really is. In terms of charging, I don't even think about it anymore. When I get out of my car, I plug it in. And when I get to it, I unplug it and drive it.
Excellent.
How about you?
Exactly the same thing. It's a little bit of a learning curve, and then once you reach your comfort zone, you realize what a superior experience it is to owning a gas car.
And as you can see in our little video clip here, it took us about 3 to 5 seconds. So from exiting the car until it was plugged in.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, yes, so that's it. And how does supercharging work, by the way? How long does it take to supercharge in your road trips?
We were finding initially it could take 30 to 45 minutes. Over time, we found that the supercharging network is becoming much faster. And also, we now have a newer Tesla models. I went from a 2017 Model X to 2019, and the charging speed is much faster. So we spend, on average now, 15 to 25 minutes at a supercharger, and it doesn't really slow us down at all on a road trip. By the time everyone has had a chance to go to the bathroom and grab a snack, we're ready to go. It's road tripping in a Tesla is actually more fun than in a gas car, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. And I noticed that in the early years, with my 2012 Model S, I ended up waiting on it sometimes on road trips. So came out from my bathroom or coffee break, and the car still needed charge before I could continue my trip. But now, with the newest generation of Teslas, as I got the Model Y here, for example, which is represent the latest generation of Tesla charging, the car ends up waiting for me. When I came out from buying coffee or going to the bathroom, it has been already done.
Especially when you're at a B3 supercharger, those are lightning fast, aren't they not?
They are, which, as you can see in this picture here, which charged over 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah. At
our latest road trip. So that's very convenient.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this content and found it interesting. And for now, we are signing off.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.